Good afternoon, friends. Stephen Bennun here with Israeli News Live. Today's June 15th, 2025. And the video I did here called See What No Eye Has Seen. There was a guy that put, I think his name was Woody. I'll go to the comment section here. He says at the 3:39 mark on the video, you say something, then a voice whispers, says something to you. Can anyone hear it? Who does or what does it say? So I actually went and looked, but before I did, I said my wife and kids are in the room beside me, so you may have picked up them, and I told them to whisper when talking. Uh, Actually, they weren't technically exactly beside me, but they were in the other room, and occasionally they would be whispering and stuff, not talking too loud because they know that it does pick up different sounds. So then I went and I listened to the audio to see what may have gotten picked up. Well, when you listen to the video at 3 minutes and 39 seconds, there is a word that comes out, but it's not an English word. And I'm going to play it here in a moment for you. And I actually thought maybe when I was doing the editing of this, maybe something got picked up. Well, on 339, it's actually right about there. There is a word that does come in, but there's nothing on my editing line whatsoever. In fact, I've blown this up. And you can hear it a little bit, even on this here, but there's just nothing. It's flatlined, but a word does appear. Well, the odd thing is, it sounded either Aramaic or Hebrew when I heard this word. And so what I did is I ran it in. I wasn't familiar with the word, and the word in Hebrew, if I understand it right, means inherited or possessed. In other words, you have inherited your um, gosh, how would you say it? In other words, as Gentiles, we have inherited the grace of Jesus Christ, that he has become our Father as well, which kind of ties into this message. I'm going into redemption, what it really means. And but anyway, I want to go back. I want to play this for you because I thought it's kind of worth just listening to. I backed up to 3 minutes and 9 seconds in the video. It's right at the very beginning here, pretty close. I want you to listen to it closely, and then we're going to pause and we're going to back it up and play it over it a couple of times. Listen in. Not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. That's a powerful statement to be said. How much more should we believe with such a great cloud of witnesses? Should we believe the true gospel? Let me take, there it was. Did you hear it? Yrsha. I've tried multiple ways of spelling it. Of course, Aramaic uses Hebrew type letters, and you hear it on there. Now, even in my recording, it's not as prominent. And I didn't know if maybe there's somebody else that speaks Hebrew that might better understand this, but listen again. How much more should we believe with such a great cloud of witnesses? Should we believe the true gospel? Let me take, and it's very, very prominent too. Yrsha. I don't know. I really honestly don't know. Well, maybe I'm like, I remembered I edited one part, but it's way much later in the video that I edited it. And so I thought, was it where maybe I edited the video? Well, as you can see, there is no edit in this part of the video. I'll back it up here, and you'll hear it. It's going to happen right there on that frame, right before I go into talking again. But listen to it. It's not as pronounced in this part of the editing process. Listen in. With such a great cloud of witnesses, should we believe the true gospel? Let me see, it's very faint there. Now I'll take and see if I can increase the audio track line. I'll just go in here to that part only so that we can get as loud as we can, because like I said, there's nothing there on the timeline, but yet there is a word spoken there. Listen. Should we believe the true gospel? Let me take you here. It's a little further. Let me take, so you could hear it a little bit better at that point there. Yrsha. And so I try different spellings. The only way that you can really get it is Yod Resh Shin Hey, which is inherited. You have possessed your father, in other words. That's the Hebrew word for that. There is an Aramaic root word that's very similar that's also spelled in like manner and means the exact same thing. So I don't know what to think of it. I really don't. I mean, when you listen to it over here, though, it is more prominent than when we're there. And I don't know if I can crank the volume any louder, but we'll listen to it here again. Believe the true gospel. Let me take you here. See, and why was it louder on the video when I actually did the processing of it? I have no idea. I have no whatsoever. And I will show you though. Let me make the video smaller in the editing phase of it. Certainly would love to get you guys' thoughts on this as well. If I bring it all the way down to the full size of the video, you can see right there, over here, way later in the video, and all I did was when I edited that part of the clip there, it was, I think it's just a bigger gap is what it was. Yeah, see, I had a big gap of space in there where I just didn't say anything. I think I was trying to find a verse or something, and so what I did is like I do a lot of times, I'll just go in there and I'll edit that down, close it in, and then you can, you hear the rest. You don't have to go through that long gap in there. And so I thought maybe something got caught, right? But even that, right? And you see what I was doing. I was trying to find the verse. So what I did is I lowered it back like that. I did like this here, and then closed in the gap so you guys don't have to go through that long time period, right? Very verse I just, and that sometimes you would expect maybe a little change in the words or something like that, right? Um, but when you get all the way back over here, and like I said, you can see it as I'm going through there, there's absolutely no splits whatsoever in that video. And I increased the volume right there to better. But, and you do, but it's flatline. How do you get a word on a flatline piece? All right. I mean, I got this blown up. Normally your frame is nowhere near like that, right? Normally when you're editing, you're like that. But here it is. And I blew the frame up just to see, is there any hint of sound on the recording? And there's nothing. There's nothing there. So why do we get this word Yrsha that pops up there? And it's literally right there in that little tiny space. Picks up a little better when I increase the volume. But it doesn't do anything. I mean, of course, I'm sorry. But when you go to the actual video, it is a little bit more prominent there. Listen again. It's just wild, and I don't know what to think of that. I figured I'd share that with you. It's kind of weird. Happy Father's Day for all of you there, and as my wife would say, you fathers need to give flowers to your wife because she's the one that made you a father in the first place. So Figured I'd just share that. It's kind of humorous when she said that. But anyway, God bless you, and keep us in your prayers there. And don't forget to, just so you guys are aware, we do have a new PO box. You can still send here in Tennessee. I'm actually here right now, and but it's PO Box 956 in Prosper, Texas. And I forget the zip code on that, but I'll try to get that from the last video I just did. Oh yeah, you know that'd be probably the easiest way for me to share that with you. Let me just quickly go to that last video there, just so that I can show you the mailing address, because there's one day before yesterday, and we go to the description. Well, I thought the address in there, but maybe I did not. Did I even say it in the video? Maybe I did. Let's listen in. I know what it was. It's actually on the video is where it's at. Uh, right near the, there we go. Yes. Stephen Bennun, P.O. Box 956, Prosper, Texas 75078 is the zip code. And also, too, besides that, there one thing I will be going into a little bit later tonight. Iran has again sent another wave of ballistic missiles into Israel, hitting in Tel Aviv, also in Haifa. A lot of damage has been done there. They are using it through, like you'll see in this video, are the hypersonic missiles. They are that's the ones that are hitting that are actually hitting the target there. But one thing I wanted to tell you guys that I don't want you to be fooled about in this, regardless of what you see happening there, is that Israel controls Iran a lot more than what people realize, and they're just not telling you about that. There we go. Here it comes now. This one, there. Yeah, there we go. There it is. That's where they hit right there. So they've hit quite a few places there. Israel controls it. Israel is going to make sure that Iran attacks Israel. Eventually, Trump will get involved. Russia, the United States. All this is being played out to bring about a new world order. So I am going to be going into that a little bit more with you guys. And but I didn't want you to be fooled by it. If you remember, I did a video a little while back about the pagers, and how that the different leaders, like the Hezbollah leader Nasrallah, would end up being killed. And you know, and I think I even told you before it happened that because I'd gotten the information from a very good source there, I shared with you from a oh gosh, from one of the Middle East countries there, where they were talking about all the different leaders of these factions there. Israel had the information from Iranian intelligence, and they were going to be killing them one after another. And they did. And even the pagers themselves, they were made in Iran. Not their pagers themselves, but they were sent through Iran. The explosives were added by the Iranians, and then they were sent into Hezbollah. So Israel controls Iran, and you guys are really being duped into believing this, that all these nations are coming against Israel. It was Israel, like I told you back years ago, that the ISIS militants were wearing tzitzit. That was from a good friend of mine in the IDF, was sharing that with me at dinner we were having, a Shabbat dinner we were having one night. You know, so it's no surprise to some of those that are really connected inside of Israel, who controls all these wars that are happening in the Middle East, and who the cheerleader is, of course, Netanyahu. So, Stephen Bennun here with Israeli News Live. God bless you. Thank you for your support, and we will be updating you later tonight.